All right, guys, and welcome to today's training on the Authority Builder. How do we build content and marketing and stuff that people want and people chase you for, okay? That people come to you for as the authority, as the expert, as the person, the go-to guy or go-to gal in your particular niche, okay? So, what's the goal with this? Today, I'm going to do a lot of drawing on my iPad. I hope that's cool with you. So I'm going to draw a lot as we switch between them both. The goal of today is two things. What I want for you more than anything is for you to become the micro celebrity in your space. What do I mean by micro celebrity? I don't mean at the level where you're Kim Kardashian or where you're getting chased down the street, right? That's not what I mean. The level that I mean is where within your space, you are known as the go-to person. If you went to an industry event, people would know you, but you're not going to be stopped on the street, okay? You don't need to make a sex tape to become famous. Please don't do that. Nor will you be mobbed if you go shopping. But what I want for you is, yeah, a celebrity in your little space. So as I draw this out right here for you, let's look at a couple of things, and a couple of things I've been working on the last sort of 90 days in my own business. So we've got this balance, right? And there's two things that I really want to make sure that we're all getting, okay, or we're all giving rather to our marketplace. The first is value bombs. Okay, how do we drop valuable stuff? How do we do this consistently, not just once a month, but consistently over time, and how do we repeat this day in, day out, week in, week out, okay? That's the first thing. And the second thing we want to do, guys, honestly, if I can run a business on the internet with my limited tech skills, anyone can. The second thing we want to do is audience amplification. Big word. I'm just going to write amp. Audience amplification. So what I mean is we're giving good value. But the problem with giving good value is if we're just giving value, but we have no audience, then it's like the same three people liking your post. One of them is your mom, and one of them is your friend from high school. Okay? That's not really going to matter. And if we have an audience, but we're not giving value, then we're going to get likes on our photo of a sunset, or we're going to get likes on our photo of you on holidays, but we're not going to give enough value to be positioned as the celebrity authority. Does that make sense? So we need a bit of a blend between these two. And what we want that blend to be is value on one side and growing your audience on the other side. Okay? So let's dive a bit deeper into this right now. And there are 6 things that you need. 6 things. If you're following along at home, this isn't in the worksheet, you can just draw this on your page. Something I know from experience, and the science backs it up. If you just listen to things, you'll retain some of it. But if you're actively listening, if you're taking notes, writing things down, being an active listener, your retention will skyrocket. So I encourage you not to sort of clean the house and do squats and do your yoga routine while you're doing this. If you can actively sit down and take notes here, you will get much more out of it. And for me, I sort of get a bit higher when we interact and engage. It's not just me lecturing. That's why I dropped out of college, because of just people talking to me. If we can make this interactive and fun, then I think both you and I will get more out of it. Is that cool? If that's cool, just write cool in the comments and I will carry on. All right, so 3 things on this side. Cool, yeah, love it. So 3 things on this side for us to consider. So the first is content. How do we have original, consistent content that we can duplicate for a long time, okay? The second, you know what, I'm gonna bring this over here. There we go. The second is entertainment. People want to be entertained. They're on their phone, on their computer, literally, don't judge me for this, people are literally doing it on the toilet. They go to a lunch break, they're in a shopping center, they get out their phone, and they're looking for entertainment. They're looking for a distraction, okay? No, James, it's not. And third, we're looking for consistency, consistent. So to hone your chops on this side of the model, we want to have content, we want to entertain, and we want to be consistent. Okay. Then if we flip over to the other side here of building the audience, there's a few things we want to cover here. Number one is we want to get their attention. Again, the best value bombs in the world without anyone watching, well, it's going to fall onto deaf ears, okay? The second is we want actually people to consume your stuff. So we want consumption. Please don't judge me for my handwriting. When your Apple Pen breaks, you use the next best thing, which is my finger, okay? And lastly, there's a time when we grow an audience, we give in value, and we want conversion. Conversion either into the next step, which might be a chat, a phone call, a trial, or conversion into your high-end signature system, which we're really trying to grow, okay? Does this make sense so far? So they're really the 6 things we want to balance. Now, if we're too far on the value side, again, we've got no audience. We're giving great stuff. We're entertaining. We're super consistent with this, but it's mum watching, okay? Or, you know, even worse for me, my mum watches, but she's like a ghost. She's a lurker. She'll say, Pete, I love that post you put up, you know, last week. I said, Mum, you never like a single thing. So it could be worse. Like, at least if your mum's liking your stuff, you get some engagement. I get none. On the other side, we need to amplify the audience. If you've sort of got 100 people on your email list and 200 Facebook friends, your audience is low, okay? So we need to be able to balance both of these things. Cool. So micro celebrity is the goal. And this comes, you know, you guys remember in the stuff we talk about niche where you're the generalist and then the specialist, and then as it goes up, you become the micro celebrity specialist, okay? And that's the goal for everybody within your micro niche. Now, what I'd love to know from you guys right now who are on live is, why are you on today's call? As in, what are you struggling with either organic content, with building authority, with coming up with consistency? What is your 1 or 2 key things or key reasons you're on this call today and would like to improve your organic and authority with? Whilst you type, I'm getting a quick drink of water and I'll be right back. Nice. Yeah, James, love that. Learn and build content creation skill. Yeah, it is a skill. It totally is a skill. David says reach. Totally. Yeah, the audience amplification side of the coin. Matthew White, continue to create copy that can give value to my audience and convert. Love that. Adam says converting. Yeah. 100%. Great work, guys. Love this. All right, so if you turn to the first page now in your handout, if you don't have that, just follow along and get out a notebook or a napkin or a top of a coffee cup. I love using models like I'm about to use to explain things. And I always think if the model can't be drawn on a napkin, it's probably too complicated, right? And I think sometimes the best business plans are a Nico, like a fat texter, and a napkin. And if you have to write size 8 font for a plan, it's often too complicated. James Stratford on an iPad. What I've done is I've downloaded it on my Mac. and then I airdrop it to my iPad and open it in Notability. But that's it for another conversation. Just draw it on a napkin for now, okay? All right, so let's switch back over. For a lot of us on this call, it's our first live call like this. So welcome. It's good to have you here. All right, so let's look at the matrix. So essentially on this axis, actually I'll make this gray so it sort of matches my existing, there we go. How good's that? On this axis, we've got the awesome to average axis. And what I mean by this is the quality of the content. So at the top, we've got stuff that's really awesome, that's really good. And at the bottom, we've got average. Okay? Stuff that, quite frankly, just kind of stinks. On the other side of things, we've got the difficulty axis. And on this one here, we've got hard, and we've got easy. And that's meaning hard or easy for you to produce, okay? So let's look at where some of these fall and how some of these work, okay? So down the bottom here, we've got things like long word blogs. Now, the reason these are a bit more difficult is because, oops, sorry gang, is because, well, they take time, okay? They take a lot of time to produce, to write, to edit, to get the feature image, any SEO backend stuff if you're doing like long form blogs on a website style, okay? That'd be one example of something that's hard for you to produce and kind of average because it's not really standing out, okay? I'll get to where long form copy has its place, but often blogs are not, in this ratio, are not gonna work ideally, okay? Up this end, we've got awesome, but really, really hard. Now, this would be like a highly produced vlog, you know, like filmed on a GoPro or filmed on a DSLR camera, edited with music, with fade in, with fade out, with a roll B camera, a roll A, you know, like mint edited stuff, okay? You notice I don't do any of this because I don't have a video team. And until I hire a video team, I don't want to be on iMovie, you know, cropping little micro things, okay? Bottom right, you know, you will get to rants in a minute and some of the styles of content we can produce. But I hate just like really lame, gimmicky quote cards. You know, if it's a great quote and you can share a story about it or there's something cool, fantastic. But, you know, like the Fitspo girls with barely any clothes on and just posting like a quote from a famous Stoic philosopher who they have no idea who it is. Like that to me is just pretty lame, right? And it's unoriginal. It might have worked in 2010 or when Instagram first started, but if you look at it now, it's kind of a different story, okay? What I like up here is great for audience, for authority, for growing know, like, trustability, are short videos. If you look at the style of videos that I produce on in the group, on my wall, they're mostly short, you know, like iPhone, no editing, one take style of videos. And there's a reason I like those, okay? So if we look at some of these, I really think like this one down here is in the red zone. They blend in, they're a bit vanilla, they're hard to produce in terms of they need writing, editing, feature photo, uploaded to a blog, okay? Next, some sort of like stuff that's in the middle. I'd call in the orange zone would be the vlog and would be these quote cards. You know, not quite a red zone like the fully edited long form copy blog with photos, but it's not really where we want to be. Where I think we should all live more is up here. Okay, is a mixture of styles, which we'll get to soon, a mixture of content, which we'll get to soon, but short vids, unedited, that position you, that are awesome, that are cool content, and that bring people into your world. What have been the most successful shows in the last 2 decades? Anyone want to have a guess in the comments? What have been the most successful style of TV shows and, you know, series style shows in the last 2 decades? Oprah's close. I mean, Oprah's kind of in this category. Good guess. Matthew White nailed it. Reality TV. Reality TV. And why is that? Because people want to see behind the scenes. People want to see where you're at. You're like your little nuances, the chinks in your armor. Okay? Of these 4 things right now, where have most of your content been? Has it been green? Has it been orange? Has it been red? Just let me know in the comments. Red, yeah. Not on a website though, yeah. Yeah, so maybe a bit of red and a bit of green for you, Maddie. All the above, orange and red, yeah. What I like to think, I think when I look at content and positioning, I think of it like dieting. And bear with me here. When I look at dieting, people say that people can't lose weight. That's actually not true. 99% of people that you and I know can lose weight. The problem is they can't keep it off, right? It's a consistency problem. So when it comes to content, I like to think, what's the best maintainable high level of content I can produce? And I always think long form copy will have its place. I think beautifully constructed vlogs are amazing. I don't think as much about quote cards, but the other 2 I think have a place in the big picture. But if we look at our best level of consistent, maintainable content, the short vids are where it fits, okay? There's a few levels to this. If we go one step deeper here, these style of content generally leaves you exhausted, right? It's hard to maintain that. I know people with massive businesses who have video teams who, you know, go around and shoot them all day. And it's a long process to do this. You know, a 1-minute perfectly curated clip takes hours of editing, right? The blogs, this long form style can leave us dejected. All that work and there's still no traffic on it. There's no audience behind it. I think this quote cards leaves us a little bit detached because, like, what's the point of this? How do we stand out? But these ones up here leave you inspired. The quickest way to get stuff out of your brain and just into the world is literally to press record or press live and shoot some videos as you go, okay? They can be turned into ads. You can put money behind them for some great retargeting stuff. And for those on paid ads, we'll get into that, where you shoot content purely to build an audience, then you make an offer to only people who have seen that. So there's multi-use of this stuff we can use, okay? I remember years ago, one of the first guys that I learned online digital marketing from was a dude called Eben Pagan. And Eben Pagan at the time had a teaching guys how to date. And his business did $500,000 revenue per week. So it was a $25 million per year business in the dating game. And he said one of his core principles at the time was a daily email. There wasn't Facebook back then. He said, my goal here is to create the world's most valuable email newsletter. And at first it didn't quite sink in, but then when I revisited some of his trainings, I was like, whoa, that's quite a profound thing. The world's most valuable newsletter. So what is it that you do with your following, with your audience, with your areas of audience building? And how can you literally aim or inspire to make that one of the world's best or the world's best? I have no, for now, I'm trying to make my group my free stuff, and definitely this paid stuff, literally the best in the world for PTs and coaches who want to scale their business. Like, I don't say that lightly, and it kind of like scares me when I say that. But it's inspired from Eben saying he wanted to create the world's most valuable newsletter. Okay. All right. Does that matrix make sense? And what's the best thing you've learned from that? So any questions? Let's do a quick check-in now. And if you have no questions, yeah, what's one takeaway you've gotten from this first model? David says all of the above. Yeah, great. Olivia says orange and red. James Stratford, yeah, focus on easy but strong content. Totally. We're going to get to the how in a moment. Matthew White, make more vids. Yeah. Adam, my educational videos are kind of exhausting at times. Dude, you're going to love a slide that's coming up. And we can talk about batching some of that content you do as well. Bear with me. We're going to get to that. All right. Let's go back to this one I want to share. Here we go. All right, so that's the content matrix. Now, what I want to talk about now is staying in your lane. Adam, this will resonate with you. Now, you don't want to stay in your lane. In previous videos, I've spoken about storylines and soap opera sequences. You know, and if we look at that soap opera idea, there are certain storylines within your business, right? So, you know, as an example, we've got like the highs and lows of your business, of running, of scaling, of building a team, of energy, whatever it is. We all show, you know, in my storylines, I try to then mix up, you know, like highs and lows of kids, of family, of whatever it might be. And you might have a third storyline that's, you know, something to do with, you know, with travel, with your own fitness, with whatever it might be, okay? So there's different periods of highs and lows throughout your week. Now, if we are just doing all teach, I'm guilty of this. If we are just doing all teach style, you know, for a long time, my videos were, hey guys, it's Pete here, and I've got 3 short lessons on X that I want to share with you. And like that was, I think, valuable stuff. But if that's all you're doing, if that's all you're hammering, it gets a bit old. Do you guys remember in junior school when you get introduced to music? For some reason, my kids caught on to that early. And my son especially loves music. So I made the mistake of buying him a recorder. Now, this relates to your content because with his recorder now, he just hits the same note. Like he'll just blow the sun. Like let's say it's middle C. It's like boop 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 on a record, like a really high pitched recorder. And I love my son. I love music, but when it's just middle C, the first 10 times is cool. But after a few hours and you have this for multiple days, you get the idea. It gets a bit old, right? So we never want to be that musician who is just hitting middle C all day, every day. And I've been guilty of that in the past with my short videos that are too coaching based, that I'm just coaching. And you might be similar because we love coaching people. We're coaches. We want to share our stuff, help people, inspire. But if we're just doing that, it's similar to Jax, my 5-year-old, hitting middle C on a recorder for all of the school holidays, okay? It kind of wears thin, even if it's your son. So we want to mix that up. And it's what I call full spectrum. We want to go full spectrum. And there are certain things we should be sharing about our personal life, about our training, about those different storylines throughout our life, okay? If I have a weakness in my content stuff, it's definitely this. It's definitely sharing this. I force myself to do something before this because I realize I don't share much at all. and I put a photo up of like my mock standing desk, which I'm using right now. Okay, which if you see my wall, you'll see that. So that's what we mean about hitting middle C, going full spectrum and sharing multiple things, okay? The poor cat. Yeah, the poor cat. It's got nowhere to lie. Okay, so now let's get to the planner. We're going to preview this right now. Let's have a look. And the idea of this planner is simple. Once a month, or once every sort of 4-week block, you will get this out and you will plan the key things in your content. Now, to break it up, so we're not playing the middle C at all times, we've broken this up into a few sections, okay? We've got connection style posts, which, as the name suggests, the goal is to build connection. We've got character. If you've seen my videos about Character Diamond and how screenwriters do this, it's about sharing certain things. Sharing the highs, sharing the lows, sharing the weaknesses. Then we've got coaching, where we can teach, give our points, do sort of ask me style things. We've got conversion. I just put a conversion style post in Fit Pro Mastery. I'll show you guys that. By the way, side note, if you ever see me giving something away like that, just know that you guys have the whole hog. Like I put a post up this morning in Fit Pro Mastery about a video on Facebook ads. In your ads training, there's like about to be, I think, 10 or 12 brand new videos that have flow and sequence and worksheets. I'm giving away often just one, right? So if you ever see me post stuff in a group like that, which now you know is a conversion style post, don't think I'm giving away extra stuff. I'm often giving away one chapter of one module, okay? And I'll teach you guys how to do something similar. And creation. Creation is sort of like a behind the scenes or a sneak peek or a look into what you're working on, okay? So we're gonna have 5 styles of content you can do. This works for pretty much anything, for Instagram, for Facebook, for email content, for a little like off topic, but when I try to create this stuff, I'm always thinking, what would last the test of time? If Facebook gets deleted tomorrow, if Instagram gets shut down, if YouTube gets shut down, these are principles that will carry over hopefully for decades, all right? So yes, of course, you can apply it to any current social media thing and hopefully more in the future as that evolves. James says, all knowledge. Yeah, the poor cat. All right. So that's the planner. So in a moment, we're actually going to do some of this together. But the idea is once a month, you print out a blank one, you complete it in 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and you have it up there as a planner. And the whole premise of this is we think once. We think once. The best part about being your own boss, and what I love about it, is I answer to nobody. I have an issue with authority, right? And the worst thing with being your own boss is you answer to nobody and there's no authority. So what I like about this style is we think once, right? We think about the content once, and then when it comes time to doing the work and pulling the trigger, there's no discipline involved, there's no creativity involved, we just do the thing. I've got, in Evernote, I use on my phone because where I shoot most of my stuff. I have I've got a folder called Content Ideas. And I've got a bunch of things I just pull out when I need to film a video, okay? So I often think for people self-employed running their own business, wouldn't it be great sometimes if a boss just told you what to do for one day? Like, here's a list, go do it, follow this, and let me know how you go. Well, we can create that. And that boss is you in the past. All right. One of the best ways to do this is to time it. Every time I'm doing deep work, it's not like this or not a client fulfillment style stuff. If I'm creating ad campaigns, doing deep work, creativity writing, I time it. I've got like the most popular thing I say to Siri is, hey Siri, set a 25-minute timer multiple times per day. And I plan my day in those little sprints. So when it comes time to planning your content, each month you print it out and plan it. It will literally be a 20 to 25-minute exercise. A friend of mine, Taki, says he does it. He goes to a restaurant, orders a coffee and a burger, and that's his timer. Headphones in. He's got to finish his first project before the meal comes, and that's his timer, okay? So think of it like that. You can sprint, you can work hard, you can time collapse this with a bit of time pressure. If you've been to university and you leave assignments to 48 hours out, you know exactly how this works. Parkinson's law. Okay, let's talk flow. Let's talk flow. Now, you need to get really efficient if the restaurant is too. Yeah. I can see this being a thing for you, Matt. Like you go around testing burgers and you get something done before each burger comes. I love it. So there's a few ways we can do flow, and I think there's pros and cons to each method. Method one is where you batch content for the month. So today is filming day, and you might have a couple of different t-shirts. You swap them around so they look like different things, and you film 5, 10, 15 videos at once. So ads for your educational style videos, this could be perfect. Okay, this could be perfect. Now, the advantages of that are, well, you get them all done at once. So you can be really time efficient. You can then pre-plan. You can schedule on the 18th, I'm going to schedule this one. On the 24th, I can schedule this one. On the 30th, this one will go out. The other way to do it is daily. So I like this style better, but if you're really pushed for time, if you're working other jobs and you're doing multiple things, the first option might be better. I like daily because I see it as a skill. I see it as a skill, meaning I want to be a great writer and I want to be great on video. So I'm trying to do that 4 to 5 days per week, and I make that part of my routine, okay? So what I'd love to know from you right now is, will you be a block person, or will you be a daily habit style person with this content, or are you somewhere in the middle? Matt says somewhere in the middle. Adam says block. James says daily. David says middle. Yeah, lots of middles. That's cool. A lot of my writing, I've got probably 25 half-finished emails and organic posts, so I block those sometimes. And videos, I typically do live. James Stratford has asked lives versus short video. A buddy of mine, AJ Merzad, also a fitness business coach, he does 3 to 5 videos per week. He films them all in one day. They're pre-recorded, and then he uploads them individually, okay? There was a time, I'm not sure if this is still accurate, and in the big scheme, it maybe doesn't matter that much. There was a time when Facebook prioritized live videos. So how the algorithm works is you could put something out there, but if no one sees it, well, it doesn't matter. So in the past, lives used to get more engagement than just the pre-recorded videos, even if it's the same length, same content. So test it out. I think for us, it doesn't really matter. And if you're going to do them on your business page, you can put money behind them for an engagement style campaign. But I think for now, James, whatever you prefer. If you're batching, it's going to be short video. If you're doing the daily method or the regular habit method, it's probably best to do lives, okay? All right, what I want to share with you right now is a structure for telling stories. A structure for storytelling. And I'm going to give a ninja level mindset influence tactic on this to go next level with your storytelling, okay? So this is in the notebook. Maybe take a few notes on this. But here's the framework, because your story should be intentional. Your story should be intentional, okay? In a moment, I'm going to give you some ideas on what you can produce stories about, okay? So here's the storytelling framework. Thing number one is setting. You want to share the setting. So don't start off with the problem. Was there a time before you had a healthy body? Was there a time before you were in great shape? Was there a time before your income was much higher? Okay, so that's the first thing, is setting. Number two is conflict. Conflict. Now the conflict, AKA, is the plot. Okay, is the plot of the story. So for me, I had to realize how to systemize my business. I had to realize how to make it a consistent system, and the plot initiates the journey. It's always a journey, remember, to save the damsel in distress. And if you study story writing, whether it's the hero's journey or any story structure, there's always that moment of conflict, and will this person make it? Often that person is us when we're telling this style of story. So we have setting number one, we have conflict number two, and we have then the climax. Now the climax is the turning point. This is rock bottom. So you want to share your emotions. And here's where we get ninja level. Are you ready? We share your emotions. We share the emotions that your current ideal client is currently facing. So if you have there's lots of people online who have a rags to riches story, especially in business, right? By the way, most of them are made up. But the rags to riches story, if your rags to riches style story is, I was homeless, I was a drug addict, and my family left me, there's not that many people who can relate to those things. Addicted to drugs, family left you, sleeping in your car, bankrupt. But what most people and your ideal clients will be able to relate to is the emotions you felt in the middle of the climax. Earlier this month, I shared a story about a shitty month I had a few months ago. Now, if I just said my ad stopped working, I was only getting 2 times return, not 20 times return on my ad spend. If I said those things, it wouldn't have appealed to my ideal customer who is maybe spending a tiny amount in ads or doing no ads at all. So what you have to share is the emotion. And I shared how I felt like a fraud. I felt like I was working so hard and getting nothing back from it. So I was frustrated. I was tired. And when I chat to people who have seen that story or referenced that story, you know, in a roundabout way, they say, I related to the emotions you were feeling. So if one of your stories is about being injured, about being out of shape, about being too busy to work out because of business or family, all those things are fantastic stories, but you need to share the emotions that your ideal prospect is currently feeling. If this is making sense, let me know in the comments. Awesome. This can be for both video and long copy, okay? Either can work. So we've got the setting number one, we've got the conflict number two, we've got the climax number three. So, and if you were once overweight, you can say, I was frustrated, I felt like nothing was working. In the end, I felt out of integrity and a bad example to my kids. They're the emotions that people can relate to. You want them to say, he gets me in this part of the story, okay? Part 4, we have lessons. What was learned, but also what steps did you take? It's at this point that I realized XYZ, and I needed to do 1, 2, 3. Here's where it gets extra ninja. This is stuff they don't teach in other marketing, right? Here's where it gets extra deep. At this part of the story, the action you took when you were at rock bottom is the exact action you want your ideal client to take. That's a tweetable. Write that one down. The action you took when you were at rock bottom is the next action that you want your ideal prospect to take. So in stories that I've told about being at rock bottom, being frustrated, the action that I generally relate to is I reached out to somebody and asked for help. Do you see how that relates to what I now want my ideal customer to do, is to reach out to someone, me, and ask for help? Well, if they reach out for anyone, they're going to benefit, right? But if they reach out to me and I can help them, even better. So yours might be they hired a trainer. They invested in themselves. They admitted they needed help and wanted some accountability. This is some ninja deep stuff, okay? And you can say, the difference was hiring a coach. I didn't have the money, but I reached out, and I'd say that I didn't have the money. You might say, I didn't have time, and I've had bad trainers before, but I reached out, and even me as a trainer, I hired a trainer to get in shape. That is some ninja level seeding of the next step for you. Part 5 is the resolution. So show that you are now in the destination that your client wants to be in. Whatever that system is that you preach about, eating the foods you want, or no restriction, or feeling great, or shirts off at the beach, whatever the resolution is. So a fitness coach would say, I don't just have the body of my dreams, but I now feel strong, I'm in integrity, I feel vibrant, I'm a good example for my kids or my future kids. I have the results that my clients want. So I shared that I got my lead gen under control. I had predictability back in my business. I know that if I spent $1, I'd make $2. And then you can do a close at the end. Part 6 might be a close or a call to action on a video, which is, hey, if this was helpful, thanks for watching. If you like it, tag someone, let me know. If it's a video, have a call to action, and a written post could as well. So a quick recap on those 6 things. Part 1, the setting, share the setting. Part 2, the conflict, aka the plot. Initiates the damsel in distress. Part 3 is the climax, the turning point, the rock bottom where you share your emotions. Part 4, the lessons, what was learned and what was the action taken. And if we go ninja, it should be the same action you want them to take. Part 5 was the resolution, and part 6 is the close or call to action. What was your takeaway from that story setting structure? This can be used for a positive story, a rock bottom story, a rags to riches style story. What was 4 and 6? 4 was lessons and 6 was close, call to action, wrap up. James Stratford says, definitely the stronger structure. Yeah, totally. What I want to give you guys are the frameworks and the skeleton that you can apply to any media, to anything. Adam says, good detail. Yeah. Before, yeah, awesome, James. SLO, story lesson offer, was good, but this is better. Totally. This is like everything stays a bit next level on the previous formats. Great. All right. Awesome, says Matt. Good detail, says Adam. Yeah, love it. Welcome, Kayla. Making a shake there. If you're just joining us, guys, handout in the Impact Academy group as a PDF. And yes, there's always a replay. Okay. So let's now get to work and go through some of these story style posts, and we're going to actually plan. You're going to leave today with some stuff actually planned And as a group on Monday, we're going to do some exercises to check in with everybody and kick this off. So between now and Monday, it's like Thursday here in Australia. Might be Friday or Saturday if you're on the replay. By Monday, we will kick this off and sort of go through it together, okay? So let's have a look at some of these styles right now. And if you've got this in front of you, great. Or you can mock one up also. So discuss. The discuss style post is really just to get some discussion. So it could be, what's the best book you've read this year? Traveling to Sydney, what's your favorite recommendation? So these are sort of quite similar, these two. Whoops. Now, I don't agree with some people who are like, you know, do you prefer Coke or Pepsi? And they've never, it's just an irrelevant question purely to get engagement. But if there's something around what you do and around your messaging which gets some conversation happening, that's a great thing, okay? So discuss is, ask a question. The recommendation piece could be around, it could be around travel, or it could be around restaurants, food, supplements, shoes, anything related to what you do. Tools, this sort of happened organically within Impact this morning. People were sharing the home screen of their phone, right? You could ask people like, what's the best app? What's the best tool? These first things are really just trying to build some engagement, build some conversation, okay? And maybe once a week, once a fortnight, you could utilize some of these. If you look in the Fit Pro Mastery, the prospect group, there's lots of these just to start some conversation. You can also do them on your personal page. A rant. I believe all of us, once a month, you should be standing up for the bullshit you see in the industry. One of the biggest things to build an audience is to have a common enemy. If you look at any cult, for good, for evil, some of you have done this with me at the bar and workshop. We went deep into unpacking cults, whether it's Hitler, CrossFit, anything that has a cult following, Harley Davidson, they stand for something. They have a common enemy. So I believe you should rant about something that you are honestly upset about within the industry or that you see in gyms or fitness, whether it's quick fixes, detoxers, people ripping people off, whatever it is. Now, don't just do a rant because I told you to. I want you to think deep about what does piss you off. Okay? And make that public. Once a month, once every other month, do a rant about something you believe in. If you look at and study any great brand builder, they do this. And they don't do it by accident. Okay? So that's the first category. Those ones, apart from the rant, are sort of quick and easy. But I honestly think on the rant side of things, you should make a list of a few things that you're publicly against in the industry and become known for. If you guys follow Dan Meredith, he does this very well. Most organic stuff that he does, he rants about stuff. And if you look at him over a 1 or 2 or 3 year cycle, he rants about similar things. He's clever, okay? All right, character posts. This is where a lot of people are missing. And this is where I've been my weakest as well, because I'm very heavy on the coaching style. Character posts we're looking at, and this comes back to the character diamond. What is your origin story that's meant to say? And what is your superpower? If you're unsure, ask some people around you. Ask some people around you. We're building that character story. So you can do either origin or superpower, and each month you might rotate. Weaknesses and lessons. This is sort of a vulnerable style share. If you haven't done the tool, Muddy is recommendations for tools, for things, for apps, for music players, music streaming. Just asking, it's just another type of recommendation. So if we look at weaknesses or lessons, again, once a month, share a weakness of yours. Overthinking, perfectionism. You could even use the story structure in weakness about how you sometimes turn that around. okay? A battle is similar, something you're battling against. Nemesis or lair, sometimes show where you work, show your gym, show your kitchen office where you do your admin at, show the cafe where you do your writing at. Show people behind the scenes. This is what I mean about showing your lair. Batman has his lair, right? Show people where you work with clients, where you work with admin. People want to see that, okay? An ask style. This is where if you have some clients or you have a group or you have people message you on Instagram or Facebook, you could have an Ask Pete style video once a week or once a month that you do, okay? If you look at the questions I get in Impact, the questions I get in my prospecting group, they are great content ideas for me. Something I need to do more is purely a video where like, hey guys, Kayla sent me, my client Kayla sent me this great question. She asked, Pete, I'm crushing it. How do I handle all these leads? Which she probably is asking, right? And I can turn that into a content and a teach style thing, okay? That shows a bit of social proof. It shows that people are asking you things. And it shows that you are the authority. I think most of us don't have a problem with this coaching style thing, okay? So we've got an Ask Me style short video where you answer something. I just save those, like in Facebook, I do a save the post, come back to it, and unsave it when I've answered it. A mistake that you made in your past clients 5 years ago with nutrition, with diet. A model, this right here is a model and solves this. Now, for me to explain that content matrix is complicated, but that video makes it much easier, right? So if you can share a model about your 3-part nutrition system, your 4-part body transformation system, whatever it is, takes the complicated up in the cloud and brings it into a simple coaching thing. And points are your 3 points to this, your 4 points to this. They work really well for videos, for that basic Facebook Live structure where you're like, the best way to do this point style is, hey guys, here's what I'm going to teach. Teach the thing. And then at the end, recap, all right guys, what we just covered, what I taught you was 1, 2, 3. Okay? Conversion. I want to show you an example of this. You guys should see my Facebook right now, or in a minute. And I want to show you the Fit Pro Mastery post I put up this morning. Like I said to you guys, if you're joining me late, if you ever see me use a 2-step lead gen, bear with me, a 2-step lead gen style thing, just know that you guys have the full Rolls Royce. I'm giving this like 1 door away, okay? You guys get the full car. So an example of a 2-step is where you say, hey guys, I've got this thing, message down below if you'd like it. And then the second step is obviously sending the thing. So an example from this morning is this post here. This is great if you're developing videos, developing content, producing stuff for clients that you already have. You shouldn't have to go out and produce more stuff for this. But if you've got frameworks and checklists and blueprints you can use, then this is fantastic. So how to attract endless clients who want to work with you. If you're struggling to find committed clients, I should say finding committed clients, who want to work with you and can afford you, check this. I sort of build the pain. The problem is my Fit Pro's doing it wrong, yada, yada, yada. I've just recorded an in-depth training on Facebook ads for clients. By the way, this is an update to a video I made yesterday for you guys. Want it, comment yes below and it's yours. So that was 3 hours ago and there's about 23 people so far. That's an example of 2-step. And then I'd reach out, I'd message them. This does 2 things. Number 1, it trains people to follow your command. That sounds manipulative, but it's not. It just means it's getting people used to you asking for them to do something and then they follow up and do that, okay? I want you to think right now, write down one thing that you currently have or could make in under 30 minutes that you could use for this. Yeah, James says in videos, leave a like or a yes if you can hear me. That's really that's like a three-step thing. It's A, getting some early engagement. It is B, actually testing if they can hear you. And C, it's also training the command. But just right now, take 30 seconds to think of one thing you currently have or one thing you could create in under 30 minutes that you could use as a potential two-step campaign. Just drop it in the comments. Yeah, my cheat sheet, perfect. Free guide or cheat sheets, yeah, perfect. Any like 1 page, 2 page, 3 page things are perfect. Don't think it has to be a 20,000 page journal. In fact, that could do damage. Keep it short and simple, okay? If you have nothing, you could literally film a video of not even your face, like a slideshow on your computer that you talk through your nutrition system about tracking or sleeping or why you need carbs, whatever it is, and turn it into a 5 to 10 minute video, and you've got something to give away, okay? Perfect. So that's the training. The two-step is, if you want this, comment below. The training video is more just something like, hey guys, here it is, or you can send out. A case study. You might have seen I've done case studies with, in fact, I'm pretty slack on this. I need to do more. So maybe I need to hit some of you guys up because I need to capture the wins that people are getting. But I've done Owen, I've done Nathan, I've done Catherine, and I use those as often a two-step as well, okay? The conversion tool could be click here for a call, click here to join my group, click here for a free or a very cheap trial of my system, okay? They are all options you can have under conversion. Now, the creation product is, there's a great book I'm going to grab for you right now. It's this book here that's called Show Your Work. Show Your Work. Now, what I love about this book is he just says he says, show me how the sausage is made. Now, if anyone's ever seen that, it's not a pleasant thing to look at, but it's kind of also cool. I want to know with your business, how is the sausage made? How are you creating stuff? What's the raw, unedited, behind the scenes stuff? It's a really cool style book to have on your coffee table. Oh, look, he even goes through story structures. You could read, it's like a book you could flick through and come back to. It's kind of cool. I really like this guy, and follow him on Instagram. He's got some cool stuff. His name's Austin. That's obviously in mirror image, I know, but Austin Kleon. Show Your Work. I like it. And this whole column is inspired from him. It's showing people how the sausage is made. Okay? Of you doing client work, of you up at 4 a.m. making a coffee, not looking filtered, of you meal prepping, of you vacuuming the floor of your gym. People want to see that stuff. Gary Vee, one thing I agree with Gary Vee on is document the process. Don't think you have to sell your business for $10 billion and then tell people. Document the process of doing that work every single day, okay? So a couple of things you could do with this is you could share a project that you're working on. So what I should have done, as this would have been ninja, as I planned this presentation on making content, I should have shown content about me making it, right? The other one is share a client, a raw interview, a client in progress, a PB video of him or her doing something, a sneak peek. James Summers and Katie are about to open their gym in 3 weeks. They are giving lots of sneak peeks of the floor going down, the paint going up. Kayla, I'm sure you remember those days, of those little micro wins, the equipment being delivered, all that fun stuff. And the influencer, I'm against trying to be an influencer, but if you can be with an influencer or do something behind the scenes with an influencer in your community or in your world is a big win, okay? So guys, what we're going to do right now, we are all going to finish on a creation mode on a win. I'm going to set a 5-minute timer and I'll show it up on the screen. And we're all going to go through this, or just make your own, make it easy, that we are going to begin on Monday. Okay? So let's spend 5 minutes now. This is the last. We've got 6 minutes left of today. If you can finish strong, I know we've been going for 70 minutes. If we can go for 6 more minutes, 5 of those in creation, we'll do a 1-minute recap, and then we'll hit the ground running. Okay? So I'm going to set a timer. Whoa. We're going to go backwards for 5 minutes. And time starts now. Let's try to fill as much of this as you can in 5 minutes. Yeah, James, challenge set if you can. I'm here for questions. Don't overthink it. Just do. Don't worry about story structure or details. This is a moment for a texter, a Sharpie, because we can't write small. We're thinking big level, okay? Sure, Rowan. It's also in the group, but I can do that for you. There we go. Client creation. Yeah, that's a client creation is just behind the scenes with the client, maybe a raw interview, similar to a case study, but more behind the scenes or in progress. You know, Maddie, you could do a walking into the big group you're about to kick off. Like a video of you walking in there. Or something similar. David, tool is sort of, it's similar to recommendation, but you could ask like, hey guys, what supplements do you recommend? Or hey guys, any sleep aids? What's your favorite music to work to? Superpower. Yeah, so like every superhero has their superpower, right? So you want to try to highlight what yours is. Is it, your ability to make the complex simple? Is it you're a marketing genius? Is it your ability to teach a complex skill? Is it you're very laid back and that's great? Is it you're highly organized and that's great? About mistake, yeah, man, like just a mistake. A mistake you used to make, a style you used to coach. When I was in fitness a long time ago, I used to encourage 6 meals a day. This is true. To stoke the fire. You must eat every 3 hours. When I went to like a more relaxed approach or like intermittent fasting or encouraging longer gaps between meals, I shared that mistake. I'm not saying 6 meals is bad, but I'm saying I used to say it was for everybody, right? And I don't think it is. This isn't a nutrition debate, just an example. You could share a mistake about that. I used to, in my 20s, boast to people that I could get by on 3 hours sleep a night. And for a while I could, I don't think my function dropped. I felt pretty clear-headed. If you hear that, that's the timer. But now, James, like if I don't get my 7 hours or more quality, I'm struggling. All right, gang. If only we could get by. Yeah, I agree. Gang, we are going to wrap up. What I'd love to know from you is what's been the 1 or 2 or maybe 3 at most things you've gotten from this? Just a quick recap. This is A, for me to know, but B, for you to feed back to me. One of the great things I loved about Charles Poliquin, whether you loved him or hated him, he was a fantastic teacher. The style that he taught, if you ever taught him with him live, I saw him multiple times, the style that he taught was after each segment that he spoke on, he would ask you to write down your top 10 takeaways in silence. And then he'd maybe allow 5 minutes. Then he would ask for the room's top 10 and just people shouted them out. I remember as a student, going through that exercise helped me lock in so much more. Okay. James says 3 rows and 1 box filled. Dude, awesome. Love this to level up our content. All the different content ideas, not just coaching / lessons. Yeah, 100%. Story structure is great. I like a high level structure to have when delivering. Great variability down the content. Yeah, dude, totally. James S. Yeah, I view into our lives, not just business. The content ideas, David. David, does this, I know we emailed earlier in the week, does this help a lot with those questions? So guys, next steps from now, hang on to what you've done or print out the new one. As of Monday, I'm going to guide you guys through some of this, okay, with a cool new feature we're going to try with an impact. So work on this if you can. I'll have some more instructions between now and Monday about how we can roll this out together. And I think, like cyclists, if we can be the peloton, moving together, feeding off each other as we produce content, as a team, as a group, we're going to go faster than just on our own, okay? All right, guys, thanks for playing it all out. If you got something out of this, there's, what have we got, 10 maybe on the call, which means there's about 40 who aren't. So if you got something out of this, can you please post in Impact maybe your top takeaways, what you got out of this, to rev up the people who weren't on the call, and like Charles did with me, to help you lock in what you got from this. Guys, the replay will be up soon. Thanks for being patient and playing all out. I'll talk soon. Peace.